Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is The Leader's Edge, and I'm your host for tonight, Dino Santos, here to talk to you about a topic of great interest and to share with you what this topic is. For tonight, it's called Reducing the Gender Gap in Cybersecurity. Now, as we know, there are gaps that exist in many industries, but none more so than in cybersecurity. So let's meet our guest for tonight. Her name is Irene Corpuz. That's Pags to her friends. She's an internationally renowned cybersecurity professional. And among her many accolades, she has had 30 years of experience in IT operations, corporate and IT strategy, quality ISO excellence, EFQM and UAE government excellence model information security, GRC, that's governance, risk and compliance, and project management. But after 17 years in a multinational company right here in Makati, Philippines, she moved to Abu Dhabi in 2017. In Abu Dhabi, she joined a government entity development program as a strategist to make sure that their 5-year plan was aligned. And as a freelance consultant for developing strategy implementation of ISO 9001 and EFQM C2E for the Abu Dhabi Police Attaché offices in the United Arab Emirates embassies in London and Washington, D.C. She went on to join and become the head of information security and CISO or CISO in another government entity in 2013. She implemented the mandate to comply with the Abu Dhabi Information Security Program. Under the Department of Municipal Affairs, she was also tasked to participate in the alignment, cascading, and implementation of the municipal security strategy. Ladies and gentlemen, we are so honored tonight to have as our guest Irene Corpuz. A big hand, everybody. Good evening, Irene. How are
Good
you
evening.
doing tonight?
Good evening to you. Good afternoon to me here from Abu
Yeah.
Dhabi. I'm doing good. How are you, Dino?
Oh, I'm just super. I've been looking forward to this interview for quite a while now because it's
Oh,
a topic that is seldom really looked at and understood. So I'm looking forward to learning so much from you.
thank you, thank you. Assalamu alaikum, as the greeting here say.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. So, just as we agreed, our topic here now is about reducing the gender gap in cybersecurity. But before that, allow me to post a little disclaimer. I want to say that I do not speak for or on behalf of the entity I work for. I work in a federal government entity here in Abu Dhabi, so just make it clear I'm not speaking for or on their behalf. Any figures or statistics that I share during this presentation are open data. And when you say open data, you can find it, just Google it.
Yeah,
Okay?
public domain.
Yes, it's in the public domain. So, increase of women in cybersecurity. Why does it matter? Basically, uh, sorry. Okay, it was my experience when I came here in the UAE. You know, I had 17 years of experience in IT, but what happened when I came here is that I received a lot of interviews, but I feel maybe frustrated that I didn't get an IT job. First, they say it's a man's world. IT is a man's world. There is a gender bias, obviously. There was a survey, by the way, in 2017 for all women in the security workforce, where it says 51% they suffered from some discrimination. And 87% of those women say that it has been an unconscious bias. And when we say it is an unconscious bias, it's like, yes, we are on board, but sometimes we feel like there is a favoritism. Why is this more challenging task not assigned to me? Why is it always to the guys? Why am I not given a more promising project? So this is what we get welcome, but we don't get an equal treatment. And it's not only for women in IT. We have what we call women in STEM. So women in science, technology, engineering, and math. There are architects who are women in architecture field or engineering field who I believe have also experienced the same. Okay. Now,
Excellent.
yes, only 11% of women of the professionals around are women.
Mm.
So thanks to that survey in 2013 by the Frost and Sullivan, because it like opened the eyes and mind of the organizations, the entities, the industries, various industries. And what happened from then until now, or the recent, these have been the improvements. So representation of women in the cybersecurity field have increased from 11% in 2013 to 20% in 2019. The representation of women in Fortune 500 CISO positions have increased from 13% to 20%. However, we still have this issue. There are still 3.5 million unfilled cybersecurity jobs. So
That's a
now,
lot.
regardless, yeah, that's a lot. So regardless now of that, of having that field by men or women, our concern in cybersecurity industry is that we have a lot of positions to fill.
Mm.
So those who are still maybe in the university, they might want to look into that big opportunity. Not only, I don't know how it is, I'm sorry, in the Philippines, but all over the world, this is the positions that we need to fill. Now, open data, just to give you some examples of information that we have there. This is data that I got in one of the higher education entities here. So just look at the enrollments by level and gender. So female versus male. In bachelor's, it's 60-40. In diploma, it's 75-25. Certificates is 93-7. And for foundations, it's 72-28. So just see that big gap of enrollees by gender. Now look at the
So,
graduates here.
let me just clarify brief. Sorry for the interruption, because
No problem.
the chart is fascinating. It's hard really to tell from the size of it which is the male and the female. Is the dark
The,
colored column?
the dark color is the female.
Oh, okay. So there's more females, and yet the jobs open to them because of this discrimination is lower.
Yep. So look
Hmm.
at the graduates in terms of the graduates. By the way, this is an open data from one of the universities here in the
Yeah.
UAE. Okay? So look at the graduates as well. There are more female graduates than male.
Oh,
And if you're going to look at the academic divisions, the graduates by academic divisions and gender, let's look here in the CIS or Computer Information Science, the number of female graduates is double compared to
oh.
the male. So can you just imagine what will happen to those ladies if they don't get hired,
Hmm.
right? So sayang naman, the investment of the parents and the students itself, no, it's a waste of effort and money, and of course, it's so frustrating if those females won't get hired or if the male are preferred over the female just because of the
Absolutely.
gender.
Hmm.
Yeah. Now, because of those surveys and those results about women in cybersecurity, the women in cybersecurity initiatives have increased. There's a women in cybersecurity.org. There's Women Society of Cyberjutsu. There's the
Oh,
yeah, parang jujitsu, no? Parang karatista lang ang dating. So there's a WOSEC or Women in Security. This is in Singapore. EWF, Executive Women's Forum. This is Information Security, Risk Management, and Privacy in the US. And we established the Women in Cybersecurity Middle East in 2018. So we are also participating, here in the Middle East. Um, Maybe the culture also dictates that women should only be in the home, but we are opening, no? Especially in Saudi, they have allowed the women to drive already. So situation is changing. Yes, situation is changing. Therefore, that that perception that women, Arab women, should only be at home. That has already changed here in the UAE. There are initiatives wherein, and even KPIs that measures the percent of women in the workforce. So the government is very supportive of increasing the number of women in the workforce. Therefore, it follows as well in the cybersecurity arena. Now,
I, if I may, does that mean that you are one of the charter members or the founding members of the Women in Cybersecurity?
yes, so allow me to introduce a little about the Women in Cybersecurity Middle
Yeah.
East. It was founded in 2018 by these 9 ladies. We have one from Egypt, from Kuwait, from Saudi Arabia, and most of the other members are here, based here in the UAE, but we are different nationalities.
And
Okay?
there you are. Yeah.
And there I am,
Yeah.
yes. Yes. So this started with 9 of us in 2018, and now we are about 500 members. We have,
Incredible
yes,
growth.
from
Yeah.
yeah, from Saudi, Oman, Qatar, Bahrain, UAE, Lebanon. Okay, so we have a lot of members, both in the already experienced and entry level. We have some students as well, or new graduates. So what
Okay.
we need is to increase our presence
Hmm.
as women. Okay, there's what we call CTF, or capture the flag. Capture the flag is like a gaming of hacking. So this time, when there are CTFs who put at least one member of the team should be female, kasi group ito grouping siya. So at least one should be female. Otherwise, sila lang mga boys ang mga hack, di ba?
That's right.
So we should be welcome. We should be welcome. So this is a good indication already that the organizers are making sure that there's always a participation of women in that one. So here, that's me on the second
Yes.
to the right. So that
Yeah.
was in Oman. Other publications in the newspaper. So you can see parang that time, that was in 2016, 17, 18. Parang paisa-isa lang, ano? But this time, marami na. The conferences here, in one of the conferences where I spoke actually, representing the women in cybersecurity, I just encourage the conference organizer to make sure that there's a good number of women speakers.
Hmm.
And that is already increasing by this time. After 2 or 3 years or 4 years of speaking, but telling them to increase the participation of women speakers, to show that there are a lot of women cybersecurity experts as well. I think it's the effort is paying off already. And local awareness, when I say local, there in the Philippines, of course, if I was able to do it here, I have to do my own share there in our country. So this was in the Our Lady of Fatima University. This was in PUP, my alma mater. This a virtual conference, ACO, Philippine Association of Colleges and University, which was just recently, and there was also the Talk Show Asia. So I think even with the pandemic now, with the COVID, it gave us an opportunity to increase our presence through virtual conferences, like what you're doing right now. Okay,
That's
so it's both an opportunity, and although we are locked down, we're taking advantage of this as well. No need to travel. They put the travel restrictions, then we'll do it virtually. Yeah. So that means shukran. In Arabic, it means thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome.
So
Wow.
that's those are just some of the efforts that some. It's because that's only us women in cybersecurity Middle East. That's our small contribution to the industry to increase the women presence in this industry. Yep.
Thank you so much, Pags, for the very informative slide deck. I do have a question. It's been percolating in the back of my mind ever since you began. I understand that there is discrimination, and that it is changing because by leaps and bounds, more women now are being accepted in positions of responsibility for cybersecurity. Uh, a fundamental question I'm sure that many of our viewers would like to find out, especially the young ones who are still in school and looking forward to a career. Um, how does the compensation look like though? Because I have a friend who's working in Dubai, and he was saying that because we're Filipino programmers, we're only getting this much, but if it's a Caucasian, he earns this much. Uh, is there also a gap somehow, not just in gender equality, but in say compensation
Indeed.
equality?
Un- Unfortunately, the answer is yes. So, yep, yep, yep. And when I was new here, I may say that I have a certain salary in my mind,
Yeah, yeah.
but I was told that is too much for a Filipino. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine hearing that? Gusto mo,
Yes, yes. I've
it
heard
is
that.
it is difficult to hear that. It's difficult to accept.
Yes.
Um, However, even with a lot of organizations that we have here, a lot of Filipino organizations that we have here, we're trying to encourage them to look at their value. Don't don't try to accept salaries that they believe is too low
Mm.
for their value. The thing
Yes.
is, the situation is this, Dino. Most of the kabayans that would accept low positions are actually those who are coming here on a visit visa. Because
Oh,
the companies, yes, the companies would see this applicant as someone who really needs a job. Otherwise, the visit visa will expire, and they just have to go back home. And
oh,
it's a reason for our kabayans who are coming here. Of course, I mean, we understand the situation. Um, I may say that when I came here, I was on a husband's visa. Okay, it's like a different ball game. I may have not experienced what they experience. I may have not experienced like counting the days before the visa expires. No, it's really difficult for them, especially they have a purpose for coming here. That is the reason why most companies really give a very low, I would say really very low salaries because they know that our kabayans will accept it,
mm,
especially when they convert it to Philippine peso. Yeah,
true. Mm,
yeah. So that is one. The second is, but once you, by the way, but once you have an experience, now you start getting an edge over the others. You can start marketing yourself because anytime you have an experience here, it's already an edge.
mm.
Yeah. You can already bargain for a little higher salary and then just allow yourself to increase and increase. There's always an opportunity.
So experience, therefore, is clearly a powerful leverage for
Yes.
being treated better, as it were. Mm.
Yes.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I've heard similar comments as well from, say, two of my sister-in-laws who are part of the faculty of an international school in Taiwan. And they've been working there for more than 16 years, and yet
Mm-hmm.
their increases are tiny compared to the expats, of course, who pretty much
Mm-hmm.
teach the same thing. But once you win the trust and respect, one of them, she quit her job, became a tutor, and because the parents of
Mm-hmm.
those kids respect and trust her, she earns more now as a tutor than being part of the faculty of that school.
Oh,
Go figure.
yeah.
Yeah, she
Now,
works at home. The students
yeah.
go to, and she
Mm-hmm.
earns so much more. Your
Mm-hmm.
journey has certainly been a very, very interesting, and I'm certain difficult one for you too. Um, as a woman, trying to prove herself where you are, um, do you sometimes feel the burden of being an example, and how you cannot allow your feelings sometimes to get the best of you because others are looking to you
Mm-hmm.
and hoping to be inspired by you? Were there moments where you wanted to give up, and how did you overcome that?
Well, some of the situations where I I feel I want to give up are those times when I just cannot stay in IT. My degree is in IT. My master's is in IT. Okay, my passion is in IT. Now this time I love cybersecurity. But what based on your introduction, as you have seen it, I was in strategy, I was in excellence, I was in ISO, I was in project management. So sometimes I get frustrated if they pull me and put me somewhere, okay, as a project manager, or as an ISO auditor, or implementer, or strategist, or performance management, or business analyst. But in the end, you will say you're actually lucky. I would say I'm lucky that I earned their trust. It's
Yes.
like, okay, pull Irene first, ask her to manage this project. Now it's
Yeah.
project management, it's not IT. Okay. Now there's the one I'm working right now, it's a government excellence project. I said, oh my God, they're gonna pull me from my CISA, or my security auditor role, and I will now work on government excellence. Now, I mean, there's this women in cybersecurity Middle East that keeps me in my keeps my passion going. Right. Right now we are organizing. We're going to organize a first virtual cybersecurity conference in November for women in cybersecurity Middle East. So if I don't have that group affiliation, I might I might forget what I know about cybersecurity, because really cybersecurity is something that you need to be aware of every day. What is happening every day? There are new hacks, there are new
Yes.
attacks, there are various types of attacks, and there are new technologies coming in.
Mm.
Okay, so if you don't, sorry, if I don't have that affiliation, I mean, I will be frustrated. I might just say, okay, I'm good in project management anyway, then I will just jump into project management positions.
Yeah.
I'm also good in strategy, then I will just apply in any strategy position or performance management position. Maybe that's one of the advices that I can give also to the young generations. Don't limit yourself from what you can learn. If you are given a new task, don't think of it as something like, that's not my field, I won't accept it. No, everything that I have right now, I would say that I got it from accepting various roles and responsibilities. It's like, okay, you don't want to work in that? Bring it on, give it to me. See, when I lost my job, by the way, I lost my job in 2011 or 2012
Oh.
because
Oh.
of emeritization. Yeah, because of emeritization. I mean, emeritization means they prioritize the local Emiratis. It's one of the initiatives here in the UAE. Of course,
Yeah, I heard
they will
about that. Yeah.
prioritize their own nationals, right? But I was put on a husband's visa, and what did I do? I was a freelance. I was a freelance consultant. This is where I got all those projects overseas.
Mm.
It wasn't an IT project, okay, but it was something that I know. Strategy, ISO,
Mm.
performance management, and then it was because of the trust that they called me back. They called me in 2013 to
Mm.
handle an information security project. So it's
I
about
do.
mm,
I do love your attitude. It speaks powerfully to a lot of people who need to embrace that mindset because, for example, in HR, somebody might say, "Oh, I used to be in training and I love that, and I got moved over to recruitment, then later to wages and compensation and employee relations." And I say, don't sweat it because when they do that to you, you are able to create guaranteed relevance as far as you are as an employee because you can never become obsolete because you know so many
yes,
things. You can do so
agree.
many things. Yeah.
I agree with you. And by the way, because of the pandemic, we are not excused. Huh? The cybersecurity industry is not excused from all those terminations.
Yeah,
Marami pa
I
ring
heard. Yeah.
Yeah, marami pa ring natatanggal. So if you don't try to work on other areas and skills that could actually bring you to another opportunity, then you'll just end up unemployed. Okay,
True.
we have what we call upskilling and reskilling. I'm
Mm,
not stopping myself from doing that. I
mm.
upskill, I reskill. A few months back or last year, I enrolled in AI programming, artificial
Oh,
intelligence programming. Do you
that's
think I will apply as AI programmer? No. Gusto ko lang malaman what is it there in AI programming? How does it work? Because I
mm.
cannot compete from the new graduates really experienced developing and programming, developing the robots, doing all of this stuff. It's not for me to compete with them. But what if one day I'm assigned to lead as a project manager for an AI project? At
And
least I know what they're talking about.
true, you're onto something there because
Mm.
AI is going to play a major, major role in the coming years. What
Yep.
with Google trying to put up with the Google car and self-driving vehicles,
Yeah.
automated, and definitely cybersecurity will play a major role in that as well. Because
Yep.
imagine if somebody hijacks all those Google cars, we'd have massive, massive accidents, and
Already,
yeah.
already hacked.
Oh,
Meron na already hacked. I think 2 years ago. I
oh
will not
my
mention
gosh.
the yes,
Mm.
an AI enabled car. It has already been hacked. Yep,
Oh,
yep. So
yeah.
they demonstrated how it was hacked. They showed how it was hacked. So someone was driving it, and then the windows just opened, popped up and down. The radio opened, and then they increased the volume, and then lowered the volume. And then the worst was to disable the brake.
Oh,
Okay, so
yeah, definitely.
of
Yeah.
course, of course, that was the first releases of those automated cars. Okay, but because of cybersecurity, they have increased that the security part of it. You cannot risk the lives of your customers if you are developing an automated car or self-driving car.
And Pags, just thinking on what you've said, reflecting on what you've said with 3 million plus jobs that will be open out there for cyber professionals, it's possible the figure may even be bigger than that because industries that didn't used to really think about cybersecurity are now really
Mhm.
diving into it because, like, for example, uh, ATMs are so easy to hack now that
Mm.
banks no longer deny that it ever happens to them. One of my favorite
Mm.
banks even openly admitted it to me. He said, "Sir, I'm an employee here and my account got hacked. I lost 5,000 bucks." And I said, "Have you ever tried two-factor authentication? I mean, at least try to secure your accounts." Uh,
Mhm.
Very few banks here have done that. And that's really tragic. So I was forced to move my account to a passbook account. So if ever anything's going to happen, it won't really happen here. Although I realize it's still
That
possible, but
that's defeating the purpose of the technology already.
yeah,
Kaya that's why they have the standards for every industry, no? For the HIPAA, it's the health industry. They have
yes.
the they have to comply to standards according to for the health industry sector. For the banks, you have the PCI DSS. Okay, they have to comply. It is
Mm,
very strict. That's why if your account or your credit card gets hacked, they
mm.
will give you back your money because it's their responsibility to secure you, to
Mm.
protect you.
To
Yeah.
to the
And
decision makers out there who are listening to us on this show, let me just encourage you that you need people like Irene. You need to hire more women, more graduates from courses like what she's taking because even as we embrace technology now and we have like intelligent buildings, oh yeah, your tub will be warm and hot by the time you get home. Your food will be in the microwave cooked already. But remember, anything on Wi-Fi or on Bluetooth creates an opening for
yep,
anybody with the talent to ruin your life or your reputation.
you are
So
right. You
remember,
are right.
not only men can handle this job, but women like Irene can and lead the way. Hmm.
Yep.
So um, I heard earlier that you came from UP, and I'm glad to welcome you because I'm a graduate as
P,
well.
PU,
Yeah.
sorry, PUP.
Oh, PUP.
PUP. I'm
Okay.
from PUP, ano?
That's all right. But you know, one thing like people like us, we never forget our student numbers. So you know, things like those we always remember. Uh,
Mhm.
Tell us a little bit about your experience. You said you used a husband's
Visa.
visa, as it
Mhm.
were, and so you had to resort to that, no? So um, they use it as, for example, as leverage to make people accept a lower compen. But
Mhm.
eventually, by proving yourself through experience, hard work, and willingness to try other things, uh, doors have opened up for you. What does the future look for PAGs at this point?
The future, okay, with 30 plus years of experience, no,
Yeah.
as I mentioned, I will not compete anymore with the
Mm.
techies. Okay, I may have done the hacking part at the start, but this time it's about supervising the hackers. Okay, not
Mm.
really. By the way, not the bad guys,
Yeah,
not
no,
the
not
bad
black hat,
hackers.
just the white
Yeah,
hat. Yes.
yes, we call them the ethical hackers. These
Yes.
are the ones who look at the vulnerabilities or the weaknesses in the organization, and I do develop the strategy for all of these weaknesses or the risk registers, which ones do you need to prioritize, what are the risks associated with all those vulnerabilities. And by the way, the vulnerabilities are not only the technical ones. The people are one of the key vulnerabilities. If I have let's just say I have a rubber ducky USB, it looks
Yes.
cute,
Yes.
okay? The instinct of anyone who gets it is, let me see what's inside.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah? Okay, my rubber ducky USB, once anyone gets it, plugs it in, it depends on what is the program that's in there.
Oh,
I may have saved a program that is key logger, keyboard logger. It
yeah.
means once it contacts my server or my device, I will see what they're typing. Or
And
maybe my
yeah,
rubber ducky USB will hack your camera. So
that's
once you plug it in, I can see whatever is showing in
true.
the camera. Like, um, just make sure that your camera, you have like a window like this.
True.
So I
Yeah.
can just flip it like that. It covers my camera and then opens if you need your camera. You can
Yes.
buy small things like that. So what else is the future? As I mentioned, I'm currently assigned in another project which is not cybersecurity related. Well, aside from women in cybersecurity, I also have some gigs on the side, advisory. Okay, there's an ISO 27001, which is information security standard. So I have few advisory or consultancy gigs
Mm.
related to that. So it's not about technical, but it's the GRC, governance, risk, and compliance.
Wow.
This
Okay.
is, yeah. So more on advisory and consultancy is the future if you are on the later part of your information security career. Of course, we're not saying that you can go in the path that I'm into. Others would still do hacking at this until this stage. But if that is their passion, then it's theirs. But to me, it's on that direction because given the situation that I'm being thrown here, there, strategy, ISO, excellence, performance management, everything revolving around my job right now, I can't it limits me to focus on technicals of the cybersecurity. So it's more on the GRC.
Mags, one final question. If you could talk to yourself, you know, like from 30 years ago, if you somehow could travel back in time and you met yourself 30 years ago, of course, not revealing who you are, but you know, oh, I found myself 30 years ago, and you bumped into yourself. What would you have said to yourself 30 years if you could have gone back in time?
If I could have gone back in time, I I could tell Irene what I'm telling you right now. I could tell
Yeah.
her, don't limit yourself from what you know. Don't stay in your comfort zone, because I can say that it was because of my husband why I'm here. I was 17 years in an organization, in a single organization there in the Philippines, and I thought that was my life. Um, there could there were hesitations before to move here with him because I thought I had a good career path. But when I moved here with him, that's when a lot of doors opened. So if I meet myself 30 years back, I would say, Irene, you have a lot of opportunities out there. Explore them, learn a lot, and embrace the challenges, embrace new opportunities, and that's how you will grow more. That's
Wonderful. Yeah.
yeah.
And maybe when you meet your future husband, or when you meet this guy, or not to tell her that this will be your future husband, when you meet this guy, smile a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's going to change your life as well. Hmm.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I do thank you again for taking time out. I know you're super busy and you have that conference to look forward to.
Yep.
Maybe we can use this as a venue for you to invite cyber professionals who may want to join. Can they join that convention?
Oh, yeah, we will open it. We're actually opening, we have a call for papers. We are inviting speakers.
Yeah.
Of course, women, if I may encourage women speakers. When we open the call for papers, I will post it as well. We have the CTF, or capture the flag. So
Oh.
we're also encouraging girls to participate in that
Oh.
capture the flag event. So
Mhm.
this is the hacking thing that I was telling you, like it's just a game, but actually they are hacking. So there's a prize for winning that competition as well. Yep.
Oh
So
my
all of this
gosh.
will happen in November. Call for papers will open in September. So we'll be inviting women speakers
Is
in
there
that.
a website that they can visit so they can?
Yes, we have a Women in Cybersecurity Middle East in LinkedIn. We also have our Twitter where we post our updates there. Yeah.
Outstanding. Okay,
Yeah.
so ladies and gentlemen, that's our episode for tonight on women in cybersecurity. Again, we'd like to thank our special guest, Irene Corpuz. Next week, we'll be inviting somebody who comes from sort of related industry. She used to be the HR head for Amcor Technologies and now retired. We will be welcoming Lima Nalaysay to talk about securing your financial future. So do be there when she comes to us in the Leader's Edge. So until then, everybody stay healthy, stay safe, Pags. Hope we can
Thank
invite you again in the
you.
future.
No
Uh,
problem.
yeah,
Anytime.
maybe you can give us an update on how that convention
Oh,
came
yeah.
off. Yeah. All
Sure,
right.
sure, of
So
course. Yeah.
again, ladies out there, the world of cybersecurity wants you. Please join. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, good night.
Good night to you. Thank you, Dina.
Okay. So
So lahat kami nangangarap kami maging regular employee, but that never happens. I have to improve my attitude. I have to keep learning. Mahirap po, pero I went out my comfort zone, and then blood, sweat, and tears, just like a success story ninyo, and which made me where I am now. It's all because making that simple decision.
Let me ask you, I'm sure you are experiencing now even beyond what you imagined, correct? Oh, see? Because once you start moving in the right direction, pataas, no? I mean, it will just go, it will propel you to greater heights. Even if it is not yet true, you think, you believe, then you act like it is true. It will come true.
You know that you're already earning money. These are the perceptions of the members. So you're afraid to go out to your comfort zone. It's from the media. You should go out outside your comfort zone. So take a lead. Good news normally are in the back pages. And if we are not wise enough, our thinking could be influenced by what we are bombarded on a daily basis. And show them the right way. Because I believe everyone's here have a winning edge. Thank you.
Wait.